Good evening. I'm, I'm Thelma Kibitsky, and I'm the Deputy Mayor. And I would like to welcome you to the City of Westland's 2015 State of the City Address. We will be getting started shortly, so I would like to ask everybody to make sure their phone is off or on silent. We also have a full house tonight, so we have 2 overflow rooms. So I want to thank the people that are in the overflow rooms for understanding our situation. This is a wonderful situation to be in. With that, I would now like to introduce a video message from some very special people.
What are you doing, Luke?
I got secret access to Dad's speech. I'm pretty tight with Dan Bordeaux.
Don't you think Dad has a pretty good idea of all the great things that happen in Westland?
Yes, but I'm sure I can add a little pizzazz to it for him.
If you want a little pizzazz, I think we should do an opening number of Peyton and I doing the whip.
Now watch me whip, kill it, watch me nay nay. Okay. Now watch me whip, whip, watch me nay nay. Can you do it? Now watch me, ooh, watch me, watch me, ooh, watch me, watch me, ooh, watch me, watch me, ooh, okay, ooh, okay, ooh, watch me, watch me, ooh, watch me, watch me, ooh, watch me, watch me, ooh, okay, ooh, crazy.
There is no way that Dad would ever know this dance. Maybe we should just introduce the Mistress of Ceremonies.
That's probably a good idea. Dad is a little too old to know the whip. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our Mistress of Ceremonies,
Ashley Barassi.
Good evening, everyone. I was going to come out and try to do the whip and nay nay with Mayor Wild showing me some of those moves back there, but after watching him, I thought I probably shouldn't take instruction from Mayor Wild. And thank you to the Wild family for that wonderful introduction. At this time, I'd like to ask all of you to please stand for the presentation of colors by the Westland Police Department, our honor guard.
Colors right. Ball. Post colors. Post. Ready. Drop. Reset. Out. Order. Out.
right, thank you. You may be seated. Well, today we are honored to have a young lady who has risen from victim to victor. Just a few months ago, Emma Sosha was bullied on a school bus. A classmate dumped a chemical on her, causing temporary blindness. And instead of letting the bully get the best of her, she decided that it was time to stop all bullies. So Emma launched her own awareness campaign called Empower Kindness, where she and her support group sell anti-bullying bracelets and t-shirts. And Mayor Wild has joined the cause and has purchased a bracelet for all of our guests joining us in the Grand Ballroom. So I'm sure you've seen them seated on your seats this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Emma Sosha, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, let's hear it for Emma. She's truly an inspiration at such a young age, and there are many of us in this room, Emma, that have been bullied. And even though we might not look like we have been, I was one of those people too when I was your age, and so you're an inspiration to a lot of people your age and even older, so keep up the great work, okay? All right. At this time, I would like to introduce Suffragan Bishop Luke A. McClendon from the Christ Temple Apostolic Faith Church to deliver the invocation for tonight.
Good evening, everyone, and praise the Lord. We certainly happy to be here. We thank the mayor and his staff for inviting me out once again to do the invocation. It's always an honor and a privilege to pray for our great city. May we bow our heads in prayer, please. Eternal God, our Father, we give thanks to you for the gift of this day and for the gift of life. Today we honor you and remind ourselves of your pivotal place in our lives. We thank you for the privilege and opportunity to come and gather together in our beautiful city hall. Thank you for the measure of health we need to fulfill our callings, for sustenance, and for friendship. If there are any in our midst today who are hurting because of a loss or some adverse situation, I ask that you send healing to them on the wings of your Spirit. Father, you established authorities to promote peace, order, and justice. Therefore, I pray for our mayor and the various levels of city officials and the reason we are here this evening. I pray that you continue to bless our mayor with wisdom to govern amid conflicting interests in issues of our times. Continue to give him a sense of the welfare and the true needs of the citizens of our city, a keen thirst for justice and confidence in what is good and fitting. I ask also, Father, in behalf of our distinguished city officials, that they will have the ability to work together in harmony with the mayor, even when there is some disagreement. Grant that there be personal peace in their lives and joy in their task. Give them a sense of what would please you and what would benefit those who live and work in our beloved city of Westland. In the precious name of your Son and our Lord and Savior, the Jesus Christ, I pray. Amen.
Thank you again. Well, it is my pleasure to introduce some of the dignitaries who have joined us this evening, and we ask that you please hold your applause until all have been recognized. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge the Westland City Council and all of our other local elected officials. If you could please stand. We also have representatives from our local school districts. You could stand as well. And we do have our county, state, federal, and all other dignitaries here. And so if we could please put our hands together and welcome everyone who has come out tonight to support Mayor Wild and the city of Westland. All right, well, at this time, let's take a moment to look at some of the images that illustrate Westland as a great all-American city. And that's just a small snippet of all the wonderful things that happen in our all-American city throughout the year. So Mayor Wild is doing a great job. And we know that behind every great man is a great woman. So at this time, I want to introduce the First Lady of the City of Westland, Sherry Wild.
Thank you, and good evening. I am so proud to be living in our all-American city. I love Westland. One of the reasons that I love my city is all of you. Each and every one of you have contributed in some way to make our city more than just a city. It is a community that we can all be proud to call home. Thank you for caring and believing in Westland, because it wouldn't be the same without you. I have lived in Westland most of my life, and I can honestly say that Westland has never looked so good, and its future has never been brighter. Just look around the city at all the exciting things that are happening, just like what we just saw in the video. I couldn't be happier or more proud to be raising my children in a city surrounded by wonderful people and great opportunity. The biggest reason I love Westland is because of the man who I have the pleasure of introducing tonight. I can honestly say that I think Bill loves Westland more than any of us. I say that because of what I know about him that you may not know. He starts his day sitting up in bed at about 6 a.m. on his iPad, reading and replying to emails, and ends his day the same way at around 10 p.m. They are emails from residents that have concerns or questions, or city business that he wasn't able to finish during business hours. There is an excitement in his voice when he talks about a new business opening its doors, or all of the good things that residents had to say at the last Morning with the Mayor. I can see how proud he is of all the cool things that are happening in Westland when he tweets about it or posts it on Facebook. In so many ways, he is always reaching out to Westland and its residents to show them that he is working to move our great city forward. I have the pleasure of being able to attend events and conferences with Bill, and I would like to share some of the comments that residents, mayors, city employees, and business associates have said to me about him. Bill is so genuine. I could see that after only speaking with him for a few minutes. Westland is lucky to have your husband. He truly cares about his city. Your husband is a pleasure to work with. He gets things done. Bill is an ambitious guy. We can't wait to see what he's going to do next. The mayor is doing a great job. Tell him to keep up the great work in Westland. These kind words only reinforce what I know about Bill and the kind of mayor he is. I don't know how he is able to balance being mayor, a business owner, a husband, and a father, but he does it, and most of the time with a great big smile. I love that smile. We were recently asked what our wedding song was, and it took us a few minutes to remember. After all, it has been almost 16 years. The name of our song is Amazed, and I'm still amazed by him and what a great husband and father he is. He is my rock, and he keeps me centered. Luke, Lily, and Peyton are his world, and he doesn't miss a school event, hockey game, gymnastics exhibition, or theater performance. We are all so proud of him and everything that he has accomplished. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome our mayor and the love of my life, Mayor William R. Wild.
That was pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Let's take a picture. Well, that's got me all choked up. I'm going to need a few minutes before I can start on my speech. So, first of all, thank you everybody for being here tonight, and we're sorry we couldn't get everybody in the ballroom. You know, 50 years from now when we build a new city hall, we're going to need a bigger ballroom. You guys know that? But I'm so fortunate to have a loving wife like Sherry, and for her to do this today. I really do appreciate it. And my family, you can see they're growing up right before our eyes, and you can see they have much more rhythm than I do when it comes to dancing. But I've been watching them do that dance around the house, so I'm slowly picking it up. But thank you, Luke, Lily, and Peyton for being part of that for us today. And I'd just like to recognize my family. They're sitting here today. My dad, Bill Wild Sr., is in the front row, and my stepmom, Pam Wild, sitting next to him. And to my dad's right is my sister, Michelle, and my brother, Jeff. So I appreciate you guys being here tonight. Thank you. So we've got a long event tonight. We've had a lot of good things going on in town, and we've only got the room until 11 o'clock, so it's hard to get 4 hours worth of good stuff, but we're going to give it a good try. Well, before we do the State of the City this year, we're going to take a minute, and I'd like to recognize somebody. And if you're an avid reader of the local Observer and Eccentric, or you live in the area, then you have to know Sue Mason. Sue is the community editor of the Garden City and the Wayne Westland Observer. Prior to joining the Observer and Eccentric in 1985, Sue had worked for several suburban newspapers in Dearborn and Wayne. Sue is someone who always exudes the highest level of professional excellence and brings true meaning to the term professional journalism. Sue has won numerous awards for her writing and for her sections from the National Newspaper Association, Suburban Newspapers of America, and the Michigan Press Association. She has twice been recognized by the Michigan PTA for coverage of education and schools, and she was honored by the Wayne Westland Community Schools for her exemplary coverage of educational issues. Sue is also the 2007 Westland Civitans Citizen of the Year. She served 15 years in the Schoolcraft College Women's Resource Advisory Board and is a past recipient of the prestigious Athena Award that recognizes individuals on the merits of attaining and personifying the highest level of professional excellence and for opening the door for professional opportunities for women. Sue is married to Bob Mason and has 2 children, Bobby and Carolee. And after 35 years of community journalism, Sue is retiring. She has done an incredible job of advancing news to our community through her work. And Sue, it's apparent in your work and your writing that you know and care deeply about your hometown. I've always enjoyed your columns and appreciate you keeping us abreast of important issues happening in our communities and the fairness that you've always showed me and my administration over the years. And I'll never forget on opening day of school every year, Sue runs out and she gets pictures of her kids as they go into the school, and my wife does the same thing. So, but without further ado, on behalf of the City of Westland, Sue, it's my honor to present to you one of our most honorable awards, the Key to the City. Thank you for your 35 years of service. Please join us on stage. We're going to step right over here.
Is it a good picture, Bill? Absolutely. Okay.
Okay. We're asking you to say a few words. Okay, thanks.
I was at a council meeting in August, and the mayor said he was going to do something special. I really didn't expect this. I'm kind of overwhelmed, but I do want to say I want to thank the mayor, the council, all the city officials I've had the opportunity to work with. They've been wonderful people. But I also want to thank the residents of Westland for opening their doors and letting me in, telling me their stories. Journalists are kind of professional snoops and gossips. We go out and we get the news and report it, and people trust us to do it right. When I left, graduated from Wayne State in 1972, my only goal was to be the best reporter I could be. And 43 years later, I'm still striving to try to be that. I don't think I've quite gotten there. I've faltered at times, but I keep trying to do better. I've had some wonderful people to work with. My boss, Sue Rosick, who has been a wonderful mentor and guide. She's caring, considerate, and never hesitated to smack me upside my head when I did something wrong. And I had a wonderful reporter in Leanne Rogers. She too has been caring and considerate, and she will really smack me upside my head when I do something wrong. And I want to, my husband always complains about this. When we're out and I run into somebody I know, he doesn't know who they are, so I want to have him stand up, Bob, please. Everybody, I want to introduce you to my husband, Bob. So if you run into us in a store or something, you can say hi, Bob, to him. He won't know who you are, but you'll know him and he won't feel so bad. He has been my anchor. When we met, he would call me at work and say, well, what time are you coming home? And I'd say, about 4:30. Well, it might be 6 o'clock, it might be 8 o'clock. It all depended on what happened. And he'd always say, well, you said you were going to be home at 4:30. And he finally realized that time had an ish on the end of it when it came to journalism. And that, in a moment's notice, you could be flying out the door to cover a plane crash or an explosion, whatever it was. And he spent a lot of nights alone in front of the TV while I was at meetings, and I truly appreciate that. And in retirement, I'm kind of looking forward to having evenings sitting with him on the couch watching TV. He'll have the remote, though, because I fall asleep with the remote in my hand. And my daughter, Carol Lee, is here today. My son, Bobby, had a previous commitment. He couldn't be here. Both of my kids, it was kind of hard juggling a family and work, but I managed to do it, and I sat through many cheer competitions, watching 200 kids shake their booties to hip-hop music, and I don't know how many soccer games, but it was a wonderful thing, and I truly enjoyed it. I miss a lot of that now that they're grown. And I do have my sister Beth here with me, my other half, and my best friend, who can't wait for me to retire because she has all kinds of plans for me. But I do want to thank you very much. I truly will treasure this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well, as you can see, we're going to miss Sue. Now, they say that writers can't speak. I think she did a pretty good job. What do you think? So now she probably counted how many words those were, so she'll know how to fit that into her next article. So thank you once again, Sue. Thank you for all that you've done. And we know that you're not going away, so don't be surprised if we reach out and ask you to help us out a little bit around the city, okay?
I'll be available.
Okay. All right, so as we get started, I just want to also recognize all of our Westland Senior Olympians. We have actually, I think 71 of them are in the building here somewhere tonight, so can we get a big round of applause for our Westland Senior Olympians? We've got most of them set up in Ballroom A and B, and this year the City of Westland had more medals than any other community all throughout Wayne County, so great job, Westland. So with that, I think we better kick things off, and I'd like to start the State of the City speech, because like I said, I got to have you guys out of here by 11, so we better get started. Distinguished members of the Westland City Council, elected and appointed officials, dedicated members of the Westland boards and commissions, hardworking city employees, members of Westland's thriving business community, our regional partners, and most importantly, the great citizens of Westland, welcome to your new Westland City Hall. It was nearly 1 year ago that the renovation was finished on this tremendous asset for our community. Don't you agree that this facility is an excellent example of how we're moving the city in the right direction? Would you agree? I'm honored to be with you tonight to talk about where we've been and the momentum that we've experienced and continue to experience in the city of Westland. Like many of you, I've lived in Westland for nearly all my life, and there's an ongoing excitement that continues to grow in our city like I've never seen before. I suspect you've seen it and maybe even felt it too. The media, businesses, and citizens around our state and nation are really taking notice of Westland. I'm asked almost on a weekly basis to speak at events and conferences on the incredible innovative turnaround of our city, and I'm proud to do so. 2015 has been an incredible year for the All-American City. We were named by Wall Street 24/7 as one of America's top 50 best mid-sized cities to live. And most notably, that was for our clean, safe neighborhoods, the low cost for high quality living, steady employment growth, and financial stability. Westland was also recognized by the U.S. Conference of Mayors with the City Livability Award for the incredible work being accomplished in the historic Norwayne District. And perhaps the most exciting has been the ribbon cuttings on the new Farmers and Artisans Marketplace and the new Ralph Savini Fire Station. And the most exciting of all was the opening of the brand new Westland City Hall. So now you may all remember that the City of Westland recently entered the City Hall project into the Michigan Municipal League's Community Excellence Award Program. And we joined cities from all across the state of Michigan in the race for the cup to win the coveted Community Excellence Award given annually to the top municipal project of the year. And just last week, Council President Jim Godbout and I, we traveled to Traverse City. We stood up in front of people from all across the state, and we made our pitch. So let's take a look at the video that was part of our presentation.
I think people like to take pride in their public buildings.
The future for urban redevelopment is absolutely in the adaptive reuse model.
All cities across the country are faced with these vacant big box buildings, and there's economic development directors in every city in the state of Michigan right now trying to figure out how are we going to fill these buildings.
I asked if I could be the first to take a sledgehammer to the old building.
Day to day, it was depressing. When you saw the building from the outside, the building looked pretty good, and we worked hard to at least give it a good visual impression, but as soon as you came through those doors, things changed.
Westland Mayor William Wild takes me on his least favorite tour in the perpetually flooded basement of City Hall.
They've actually come in and they've taken down all the drywall.
The 45-year-old building is leaking, cracking, and maybe sinking.
In most cities, you have city halls, and they're off like somewhere tucked in the back. People go to take care of their business, and that's it. Because it's in such like a centralized location, it'll definitely keep community engagement up a lot more.
All of those things enhance morale. I think they enjoy working in close proximity to one another. You actually feel like you're working for Michigan's 10th largest city in this city hall.
When we went through the planning process, we looked at the region as a whole. The Shop and Dine District, going south on Central City Parkway into really the Ford Road area. One of the big things that jumped out at us is that there was a lot of great things going on the southern side, but when you go up to the Shop and Dine District, the gateway to that district was a blighted, abandoned big box that was a Halloween store 30 days out of the year.
Start the city having with the way. As you see more and more blight, you start getting more and more worried.
The residents' input was key in a lot of the decisions on where it was located, what they wanted to see in the building.
Once we identified that there was an opportunity, we had to go and do some myth busting.
And the first thing we did is look at what the community input was. And we talked to the mayor, we talked to the council, and we talked about what was important to all of those folks.
So a lot of the design came from this idea of transparency and connectivity to the community.
When we started talking to developers, we started talking to businesses that we wanted to try and get to come into the city. They saw the investment that the city made. When they saw the city making those kinds of investments in this area, it got their attention.
This is a space in our community now that things are happening every single day. Every night on the weekends we're doing weddings here. I just did a wedding just a few minutes ago.
We had a dream, we had a vision that we needed to do this. And so don't be afraid to dream big.
This building is the perfect example of placemaking.
Well, the voting is in, and I've got some good news. you can see, we're not above having a little bit of fun here in the city of Westland. So, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations on winning the Community Excellence Award. Thank you. Our City Hall project showed what a city could do when it dared to dream big, and how by working together, we turned a vacant big box into a show-stopping, game-changing, state-of-the-art City Hall that is now the focal point for citizen engagement, helps redefine the city's image, and sets a new standard for design features and landscaping elements for future development. The new City Hall is also part of a larger vision to transform Westland's Central Business District into an economic, social, and cultural hub. This positive attention we're receiving is the result of a lot of hard work that we've done to position ourselves as a destination place for homeowners and businesses alike. We're quickly making a name for ourselves as a city that others look to emulate. And as I meet with mayors, elected officials, and business executives from all across Michigan and our country, I've often been asked, so how are you guys having so much success in Westland? And I tell them it's because of this. We've cultivated a spirit of cooperation in the city of Westland. I have a city council that gets it. While we don't always agree, we have proven that we can work together to tackle major issues that have been plaguing our city for years and deal with the curveballs that come with us on a daily basis. So I'd like to ask the Westland City Council, led by your Council President James Godbout, Council President Pro Tem Adam Hammonds, to please stand. This is your Westland City Council. They work very hard for you guys. You should be very proud of them. Let's give them a big round of applause. So as we move on tonight and I begin to tell our story, I think we should first take a look back to 2009. The numbers on the screen behind me were the general fund balances that the city's financial experts presented to the City Council and I back in early 2009. These were the projected fund balances from 2009 through 2013. Pretty ugly, huh? Lots of red on that board. There are a lot of reasons for this, but probably the biggest reason was that property taxes were plummeting at an exponential rate, not just in Westland, but nationwide. Our expenses were starting to exceed our revenues, and experts were predicting a recession at levels not known since the Great Depression. The reality was the city was slated to run out of money in 2009 and would, in a short time, start running massive deficits. We had to act, and we had to act quickly. It was imperative that we quickly roll up our sleeves and stop the bleeding. The City Council and I knew that we had to work together and make some major financial changes, and we had to make them quick. We knew that they had to be true structural changes, not gimmicks like furlough days or limiting City Hall hours. That wasn't going to cut it. The projected deficits were just too big. To make matters more difficult, all the city unions were under lengthy contracts, with promised wage increases coming. We knew that we needed our unions to postpone these scheduled pay raises and start contributing their health care premiums and pensions to lessen the city's burden. And we knew that we had to downsize our workforce to bring our expenses in line with the new revenues. After several sobering meetings with the City Council and the city's auditors, we came to a consensus. We would share the information with all of our unions and explain that we had to work together to save our city. There would have to be concessions. We would try to avoid massive layoffs and limit cuts to services to the best of our ability. And we would share the sacrifice. I believe leadership starts at the top. And before I could ask our unions to consider concessions, I needed to start with my own administration. I cut a third of my appointees, and my staff and I were the first to start contributing 20% towards our health care premiums and 5% towards our pensions. Department head car allowances were eliminated as well. This translated into a savings of over $1 million a year. And we agreed, after 10 layoffs, to offer employee buyouts citywide, utilizing language that was already in all the union contracts, to compassionately downsize our workforce while still honoring collective bargaining agreements and minimizing cuts to city services. Over the next several years, we quickly lowered our workforce from 401 to 275 employees. In return, we negotiated reduced staffing levels, pay and hiring freezes, 20% contributions towards health care, 5% pension contributions, and a cost-effective second tier for new hires with, among other savings, lower wages, no retirement health care, and 401ks for several of our groups, including future mayors and city clerks. Any city's two most costly benefits are retirement health care and pension costs. And we, working with the city council and our unions, we instituted reform in both of these areas citywide. Now, it may feel like we're going backwards in time, but I wanted to do this tonight because there's been a lot of talk about these issues of late. And sometimes I think you got to remember where you came from so you know where you're going. Now, in the case of the police and fire, this early retirement triggered a rising expense to the city's 345 retirement cost. And the millage rate, which hadn't been raised in years, had to be adjusted to cover the new expense. But I can assure you, this wasn't done without serious thought for the future and for Westland taxpayers. There have been complaints of police officers and firefighters retiring with $100,000 a year pensions or making more in retirement than while working. And those issues, which to be fair, predate most if not all the current elected city officials, but they were addressed as well. As part of the agreed upon concessions with public safety, the costly roll-ins to the individual's defined average composition were removed, and new lower pension multipliers were agreed upon for new hires as well. New hire police officers will retire with a new multiplier of 1.75. Now that's down from 2.8. And in the case of the fire department, all current firefighters lowered their pension multiplier from 2.8 to 2.5, and new hires will retire at 2.25. All of these changes will eventually bring retirements for police and firefighters from $100,000, and those are in the extreme circumstances, to roughly $45,000 to $50,000 across the board. Now, if future mayors and city councils will remain conservative and diligent, the 345 millage should be able to start being reduced again in the future. Now, I want to repeat, it wasn't taken lightly, and only after these forecasts in hand did the council and I agree to adjust the millage. We met all of our promised labor obligations, and we protected public safety. And I believe that if we would have had massive public safety layoffs, not only would we have jeopardized the safety of everyone, but we would not have been able to secure the concessions that we needed to fix a broken system. And more likely would have led to a public safety millage that in reality would have been the equivalent of the 345 increase and would have propped up the current system and would not have fixed it. And there'd be little or no chance of it ever being lowered. So I appreciate you guys' patience as I walk through that. The city council's taken a lot of heat for this. I agreed to every one of these changes. So once again, these guys made tough decisions, and that's what you elect us for. So let's give them a big round of applause. Okay, with that, we fast forward to 2015. Now, the number in our fund balance today is on this screen. It's $5 million. It's approximately 10% of our $60 million budget. Yes, we erased the projected deficits, and we have once again balanced the budget. But folks, this is Westland, and we didn't stop there. We are now the only community in Wayne County that has a 3-year balanced budget, and we've moved to a 5-year budgeting model. We were also able to rehire the 10 laid-off employees over time that I spoke about earlier. And I'd like to recognize our very talented finance team that led us through these troubled waters. It was led by our finance director, Steve Smith, our new budget director, Deborah Peck, and our city controller, Devin Adams. Let's give them a round of applause. Now, this could not have been accomplished without the cooperation of our partners, our unions, and our employees. I think this speaks to the incredible partnership that we have with our employees and that culture of cooperation that I mentioned earlier. Without their buy-in, there'd be no way we could be where we are today. That was the key to our success. Now let's take a quick minute to give a round of applause to our city employees and our union leadership, because like I said, that was our key to success, them working with us. Let's give them a round of applause too. Now, I don't have to tell you this, you guys know this. There's nothing more personal to a homeowner than the value of their property. And in many cases, a home is an individual's or a family's only investment. Property values in Westland declined by over 40% during the recession. And that's about on average with all Wayne County communities. But I'm proud to say that property values are on the rise in Westland. After a modest 4.5% increase in 2014, we saw a double-digit increase of 12% in 2015. And local realtors and I know there's a few in the room here tonight, they're calling the Westland market one of the hottest in the area, with several homes selling above asking price, and same-day sales and multiple offers are being reported citywide. I think that's good news for all of us. Because of the hard work and sacrifices we've all made in a rebounding taxable value rate, along with the refinance of the Tom Taylor Towers that netted the city close to $9 million, the city council earmarked for capital improvements, the city is finally in a position to start reinvesting into long-neglected priorities and strategic investments. The first of these areas is public safety. A community is more than its balance sheet. A community is a place where people live, work, play, and worship. A place where people want to feel safe. Public safety is perhaps the most critical service government provides. And we are fortunate here in Westland to be blessed with incredible police and fire departments. Our police department, led by Chief Jeff Jedrusik, who's with us tonight, is currently manned by 81 sworn officers and 45 civilian employees, and is only a few months away from achieving CALEA certification. That's the highest level of certification for public safety, and we will be one of only a handful of departments in the state to receive this difficult accreditation. Chief Jedrusik also oversees the 21 emergency dispatchers that are part of a joint state-of-the-art dispatch operation delivering service to Westland, Wayne, Garden City, and Inkster. This efficient shared service saves Westland taxpayers approximately $150,000 annually and has saved almost $500,000 since its inception. The center handles over 150,000 calls a year and just recently received a $400,000 FEMA grant to remain cutting edge and will soon be adding text to 911 to their capabilities. Let's give a big round of applause for the police department. Our fire department is led by 23-year veteran Fire Chief Michael Reddy, who manages both the Wayne and Westland fire departments, overseeing 76 firefighters and 3 civilian employees. Chief Reddy has been the Westland Fire Chief since 2001, and by sharing his employment contract with Wayne, this cost-effective measure has saved both cities' taxpayers over $1 million combined, and that's just for one position. Just think about that, one position. Chief Reddy also oversees the city ordinance enforcement and animal control services. Now, both of these services were scaled back during the recession. But after listening to citizen concerns, the Westland City Council has responded by funding 8 ordinance officers in the current budget, and 4 of them have been cross-trained to handle animal control services as well. The department has responded to close to 6,500 ordinance complaints and 350 animal control calls to date. Both of these departments, both of these men, they have difficult jobs. Sometimes they're thankless. But as a city, we've always been committed to public safety. But when we do that, we also have to walk a fine line because we need to keep the city safe, but at the same time, we have to stay financially solvent. So the challenge is, how do you keep your public safety numbers strong while maintaining your budget? Well, the City Council and I, we've looked for alternative funding solutions and grants, and I have to tell you, we've had quite a bit of success. To date, the city has received 2 federal emergency management agency SAFER grants that have allowed us to hire 22 firefighters. These grants have provided us with an opportunity to deepen our coverage and relieve the fatigue level of our first responders. In 2014-15, the Westland Fire Department has had over 25,000 runs. These guys are always on the go. And the city received a federal cops hiring grant that provided us with an opportunity to hire 6 officers. This grant, which has proven to be difficult to receive for communities without police layoffs, has been critical for maintaining our staffing levels so that Westland's finest could continue to serve and protect the citizens of our city. In 2014-15, the police department has had over 60,000 runs. Now, another way that we've invested in both our police department and in the safety of our residents while remaining fiscally responsible was to put more police officers back on the streets by hiring civilians to perform several office tasks. The department currently employs 21 police service aides. And since the inception of the program in 2012, which resulted in a more visible police presence, Westland has experienced a drop in both violent and nonviolent crimes. We have seen criminal sexual conduct crimes, those rates drop by 20%. We've seen robbery go down by 21%, burglary by 54%, auto theft 48%, and larcenies 30%. And another added benefit of the COPS grant in the PSA program has been an 8% drop in response time. So I think once again, let's give both of these departments, police and fire, a big round of applause. A balanced budget shows the city is living within its means. A surplus means you've prepared yourself for a rainy day and that there's a chance to invest in the future. Good cities have certain things in common. Great cities, however, are constantly reinventing themselves. They're generators of culture, hubs of innovation, places for sustainable living, and more than anything, places of opportunity. Let's start with the building we're in tonight. That's a perfect example of that commonality. When we talked about neglect in our community and the need to make a critical investment to better our community, nothing fits that statement more than our old City Hall. The old City Hall was cramped and inefficient. City employees were spread all over town because there wasn't enough space in the building for them. The IT infrastructure required for a modern office of any sort just wasn't there. Equipment failures were common. And as it turns out, it was built over a natural spring. The basement flooded. You saw the pictures. I had to pay for Roger Weber's shoes after I took them down in the basement that night. So, the basement flooded frequently, causing mold and compromising the air quality in the building. The city has spent over $500,000 since 2004 with basically little to show for it. Now, the new building, as you've all have seen here today, is spacious, it's light, it's airy, it's customer friendly. Provides opportunities for employees to collaborate and offer customer service in ways that were never possible before. Now, the technology in the building, and we're watching a lot of it here tonight, was laid out and designed by the talented head of our Technology and Innovation Department, Dan Bordeaux. Dan's worked us here tonight, working behind the scenes. And I think you'd agree what you see here is state of the art. You know, there's gathering spots like this ballroom available for community groups and rentals. I got to tell you, they're being utilized almost nightly. Whereas the old City Hall was an eyesore and obsolete, new City Hall is a gym that we can all be proud of. It's the front door for the city of Westland, and it's more reflective, and I think a much better representation of our community's pride. In February of this year, we cut the ribbon on a brand new state-of-the-art fire station as well that replaced the city's oldest station. The old station on Ford Road, named after Westland's first fire chief, Ralph Savini, proudly served the city for more than 50 years, actually predating the incorporation of Westland to its Nankin Township days. The new station, built on the site of the former long vacant service merchandise, still proudly honors Chief Savini's name. The station has a state-of-the-art training room and will cost less to operate due to energy-efficient windows, lighting, and HVAC system. The design of the building allows us to operate more efficiently while also offering an aesthetic look that speaks to the professionalism of the department and the growth of the city. The new location also provides greater coverage and reduced response times in primary and secondary response areas. For the first time since 1975, that's 40 years, I'm pleased to announce that the Westland Police Department is seeing its first major renovation and expansion as well. This two-phase, $2.2 million expansion will include major improvements to both the interior and exterior of the building. It will also feature a newly remodeled lobby and a new training and fitness center for the officers. Several new energy-efficient upgrades were included, and some of which include new windows and LED lighting and improvements to the HVAC system. While the repurposing of the current City Hall has gotten a lot of attention, another repurposing has kind of flown under the radar. As part of the design of the new City Hall, with the goal of getting city services under one roof, the city's cable station, WLND, moved into City Hall, which created a vacant building within our Shop and Dine district. Well, it didn't stay vacant for long. Inspire Theater, a local community theater group operating in Westland for 10 years, submitted a proposal to lease the building and have quickly turned it into the Westland Center of the Arts. I'm proud to announce they've totally renovated that building. We're proud to announce that they have totally renovated the building and have recently hosted their first performance. The center will also offer several adult and children theater lessons and acting classes, and it's going to be an incredible addition to the Westland cultural scene. Now, besides our buildings, we're also committed to investing in our infrastructure. In the current year, we started a $10 million upgrade to the city's obsolete water meter system. The city will be replacing over 25,000 meters and will have the ability to read new meters from 2 strategically placed antennas, eliminating the need for DPS workers to do manual reads. And with more accurate readings, will help diminish the city's rising water loss. We finished a $1 million road repair project on Central City between Warren and Wayne Roads. I think, is the sun come up already? I thought I still had 3 more hours. So. All right, we're not passing any chicken ordinances tonight, are we? All right, okay. The DPS department, led by our new DPS director, Ramsey El Garib, who also oversees the City of Wayne DPS in another cost-sharing model that saves Westland taxpayers over $100,000 annually, will soon start phase 1 of a $700,000 local street pavement rehab program that will begin in October of this year. The city, which recently repaired all sidewalks on city-owned property, will start a neighborhood sidewalk repair program in the spring of 2016. The reconstruction of Central City Parkway between Ford and Warren will also start in the spring of 2016. This will be a $3.4 million project, and that one that we've received a $1.2 million federal grant to help fund. It will be a 2-phase project with the road work to begin in the spring and the landscape improvements to follow in the fall. The road will be replaced under the current configuration, and after soliciting feedback from residents in the area, plans for bike lanes have been removed from the project. Construction on Newburgh Road between Ford and Warren will also start in the spring of 2016. This project was also aided with a federal grant of over $1 million. Annapolis Road in the city's south end will be repaired from Henry Ruff east to Inkster Road in a collaborative partnership with the city of Inkster. And the south end will also benefit from investments in the city's oldest water and sewer pumping stations on Inkster and Middle Belt roads. Now, these are actually only a few of the planned infrastructure investments that we have planned, and funding for all these projects is going to come from money that is already in the budget or from grants. Now, on top of these investments, the city has also recently begun to replace, we're kind of slowly starting to replace some of the oldest public services equipment to help keep our city streets clean, plowed, and salted. It's been a while since we've been able to do that, so you can look forward to seeing some of that equipment out on the street this winter. In the All-American City, we're always continuing to take steps to reduce, reuse, and recycle. It's good for the environment, and it's good for the city's bottom line. As part of our Mission Green initiative, we've worked in a partnership with DTE Energy to upgrade hundreds of streetlights from old mercury vapor lights to state-of-the-art LED fixtures. Now, we're doing this in a multi-phase approach. And you may recall our first pilot project was in the Annapolis Park subdivision, where 30 lights were converted. This project was extremely successful and has resulted in an annual savings of over $2,100. Now, using Metro Act funds and a DTE energy optimization rebate, phase 2 for the city is phase 2 of our LED lighting project is going to be to convert 230 of these mercury vapor streetlights along 10 of the major roadways, including Wayne, Joy, Newburgh, Van Born, Merriman, and Middle Belt roads. The total cost of this conversion is about $100,000, with the city's cost after those grants I mentioned of about $69,000. And the lights along Wayne Road from Glenwood to Joy Road, they've already been installed. Now, the city's savings on these lights is estimated to be about $39,000 in annual utility cost. So the phase 2 streetlights are expected to pay for themselves in less than 2 years with reduced lighting cost. My LED lighting team, headed up by the city's director and the director of the Department of Planning and Sustainability, Bruce Thompson, is currently working on securing funding to institute a 5-year program that would convert the remaining 2,300 mercury vapor lights throughout the city to LED. Another Mission Green investment is the city's new trash program. With the delivery of 25,000 new 96-gallon trash containers, along with our award-winning curbside recycling program and a continued compost pickup and special order pickup for large items, Westland has taken a much more aesthetically pleasing look to trash service and offers by far the most comprehensive recycling in the area, and yet stays within the funding of the sanitation millage. We are currently diverting approximately 1 million pounds of trash a year, and with the addition of the new Simple Recycling curbside clothing and home goods recycling program, we expect that number to increase dramatically. We also have a committee headed up by Councilman Mike Kerr that is currently studying ways to improve the entire system, paying special attention to special pickups and education. So as you can see, we take rubbish and recycling pretty seriously in Westland. And this is where we're going to have a little bit of fun again, because while we take it pretty serious, I don't think anybody takes it more serious than these two guys.
Let's get rid of our rubbish! Rubbish pickup's a big deal in Westland. None take it more seriously than City Councilman Adam Hammonds and Dewey Reeves.
You know, I take trash very seriously. But this competition with Councilman Reeves and I makes me take it even more seriously.
Seriously might be understating things a bit. These two councilmen take it to a whole new level.
Adam, if you think you're gonna beat me on the recycling tip this time, you are nuts. I got all kind of stuff. I've got paper, I've got plastic, I've got bottles, I've got magazines, I've got old cans, I've got plastic, aluminum foil containers, you name it. I got all kind of stuff in here. So if you think you better than I am with this recycling, bring it. I'm ready.
That kind of smack talk set the table for the biggest trash clash the city has ever seen. Clash of the Councilmen.
This week, I'm doubling up. I've got 2 carts. I called the city and ordered an extra cart, paid for it all online, and you better look out there, Councilman Reeves, because I'm coming after you.
Recycling is so important in our household. It's all our kids talk about. We can't keep up with it. We had to order another bin.
The new Simple Recycling program gives even more options for Westland residents.
Oh yeah, I'm loving this. I've got chairs, household items, pots, pans, 1 bag without even trying. Take that, Adam. Get on that.
This is great for me. I've got 3 kids. They're outgrowing clothes, toys. I can put it all in this bag and take it out to the curb every week.
Councilman Reeves will never give up, but the new program might have tipped things into Adam's favor.
Okay, Adam, I know what you're thinking. See, you got kids, you got 3 kids, you and Melissa. Y'all eating and throwing away stuff and buying stuff and people outgrowing stuff. But that doesn't matter. Gail and I, we're conscientious. We got you on this one.
Well, Councilman Reeves, you might be able to beat me on the golf course, but you can't get me when it comes to trash. I've got 2 recycling bins. I've got kids that are recycling here at home, but when it comes to trash, I'm the man in this neighborhood.
So who is the winner?
When it comes to trash and recycling removal in Westland, we all win! Should you have any questions, please call the Department of Public Service at 734-728-1770. Or you can call my office at 313-561-0303.
All right, so besides working hard, you see these guys are good sports too. So thank you both, Council President Pro Tem Hammonds and Councilman Dewey Reeves for participating in this, and also to our trash hauler, Paul Ruthenberg, who's in the back room tonight. So thank you, Paul, for being such a good sport, doing such a good job. When I became mayor in 2007, one of my first acts was to have crews fence off our crown jewel, Central City Park. It had become known that the soil was contaminated and that it wasn't safe for use. This was an incredible blow to the community, as this was our largest gathering spot and the site of most of the city's recreational offerings. The City Council and I vowed to get it remediated and opened back up. I personally made the promise that we would make it nicer than it was before on the day that all the park structures had to be removed. This remediation effort was neither easy nor cheap. It took time, it took money, and it took a lot of hard work to get it done. But look at it now. It's once again our crown jewel and home to the region's premier farmers and artisans market, the country's 5th largest play structure, an incredible helicopter-themed splash park, a great skateboard and bike park, soccer fields, and a nice 1/4-mile paved walking path. So how's that for making lemonade out of lemons? See, Miriam Katie's gave us a standing ovation. She was on the city council when we did a lot of that, Miriam, so thank you for your hard work. For those of you who are not familiar with Nankin Transit, it's a local authority that provides transportation for senior citizens and handicapped residents of Westland, Wayne, Garden City, and Inkster. When we talk about old problems plaguing the city, I gotta tell you, this was right there at the top of the list. Well, after hiring a new director, former Westland Police Chief Jim Reidner, and a total revamp of the entire operation, which included 10 new buses, all new computer and phone systems, this program is offering curb-to-curb service to more Westland seniors and disabled citizens than ever before. I'd like to recognize Westland Councilman Dewey Reeves on this one as well, because Dewey took a personal interest and he volunteered to help with the turnaround of Nankin Transit. Dewey, I know you took a lot of heat working on this, but your tireless efforts are to be applauded. Thank you. No 2 neighborhoods are alike. Some need help, some need more help and investment, and others are well established and thriving. One thing I've learned as I study how other cities govern is that you judge a city by its neighborhoods. Here in Westland, one of our oldest neighborhoods is Norwayne. It It was built to house Willow Run factory workers during World War II. It had fallen on hard times in the decades following due to a combination of population migration, declining property values, and general neglect. Thanks to the hard work of all the stakeholders in Norwayne, my administrative team, the Westland City Council, and successful grant applications for funding, Norwayne is on track to once again become a community of choice. And since 2009, Joanne Campbell, the director of Westland's Housing and Community Development Departments, has overseen all city projects in Norwayne, including demolition of 60 properties, renovation of 23 houses and duplexes, street and sidewalk replacement, ordinance upgrades, and park improvements. And later next month, we'll have the official grand opening of the Jefferson Barnes Community Vitality Center, which will be housed in the former Jefferson Barnes Elementary School, which is yet another fine example of repurposing a vacant building. And I also want to give special thanks to State Representative Robert Kozlowski, because this will also be the new home of several new baseball diamonds and additional recreation amenities with money that he secured from the state of Michigan. Thank you, Bob. Now, besides the public dollars we talked about that went into the revitalization of Norwayne, private sector improvements also include consumers' energy replacement of all natural gas lines, DTE energy home evaluations and energy efficiency enhancements, and private owner property investment. While residents all throughout Norwayne are making a difference in their own ways, major community organizing and stabilization efforts have been led by the Norwayne Community Citizens Council. Henry Johnson, a lifelong resident of Norwayne, who was the recipient of the 2015 First Citizen Award, reformed this organization following the closing of 2 Norwayne elementary schools. This grassroots organization is joined by St. Simon and Jude Catholic Church, the Wayne Fort Civic League, Warm Hearts, among many, many others in these efforts. The organization raises funds to sponsor the community garden, community watch, and social activities. Another individual who has dedicated himself to the renovation and improvement of Norwayne is my superhero, Vic Berra. He calls me Commissioner Gordon, and I call him, see, Batman doesn't quite do it. He's more of a plumber. He likes, instead of a bat, he likes to see a wrench up in this guy, then he knows I need him. But Vic has given much of himself with sweat, tears, and money to improving the quality of life for residents of Norwayne, and he is a guy I don't thank enough. Thank you, Vic Berra. Thank you, Lori Berra, for sharing your husband with us. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Jobs drive the city, and they power our economy. Since taking office as mayor in 2007, Westland's seen over $200 million in economic investment in new or expanded businesses. We've seen so much activity across our city in nearly all sectors. Now let's focus for a minute on some of the more recent highlights. Online Tech, an Ann Arbor-based cloud data storage center, opened its doors in December of 2014 with an incredible $10 million investment. Williams-Bayer Industries, led by Wilbert Williams, who's here with us tonight, is one of the state's largest minority-owned suppliers of parts to the automotive industry and has plans to build an additional factory, expanding their West End facilities with an exciting, good-looking $8 million investment that will bring more good-paying manufacturing jobs to the city. I say good looking because his $8 million investment, he says it was only $6 million until his wife wanted to redesign the entire look of the building. So we appreciate her additional encouragement. So Hunters Plaza, and you remember Hunters Plaza, this is where the very sad fire at Marvasos occurred a few years ago. Hunter Plaza's new owner, Eugene Abdul, has committed a $2 million investment in the Hunter Retail Center And that's going to have the potential to create 60 or 70 new jobs. And when you go by there, the place is really starting to look incredible. D&B Grocers and owner Bobby Hassano, who's here with us tonight, he recently purchased the former Sam's Club building and will be making a $4.2 million investment. CRW Flooring Company, which just recently relocated to Westland from Detroit, they moved into the vacant Danny's in the North End and is starting to really transform the corner of Merriman and Ann Arbor Trail. In 2014, there were 45 new businesses that located in our city and several reinvestments, including CVS, Family Dollar, Ulta, Airtime Trampoline, which is the biggest, baddest trampoline park in the state of Michigan, Tim Hortons, AT&T, Charming Charlie's, Taco Bell, Westland Shopping Center, Henry Ford Optimized, Bed Bath & Body Works, Bath & Body Works, Bed Bath & Beyond, Big Coffee, and many, many more. And there's also some great stuff coming right around the corner. The former Fitness USA site is going to receive a $1.5 million makeover, and On the Border Mexican Cantina, which is in the old Johnny Carino's building, is currently going under a $1.1 million reinvestment. And the former Beaver Creek restaurant is being transformed into a unique new barbecue smokehouse called the Grindstone. So as you can see, things are heating up in the city of Westland. Now, switching gears, and don't worry kids, I'm about halfway through here, so. Switching gears for a moment, there's no better indicator of a community's true economic climate or a city's economic strength than new home starts. In Westland, we have hundreds of new homes being built in the Clyde Smith Farms on Newburgh and Warren Road in this $30 million, and I think that number keeps going up every single day. This is a project that's headed up by Bernie Gleiberman and his team at HRS Communities, and they're with us here today. Let's give them a round of applause. They are bringing a lot of excitement to Westland, and I do believe that your project is helping drive the retail market in the city of Westland, so thank you. And HRS won't like this, but there's other leading home builders also looking at several other prime spots in the city as well, so that's good for us. In 2008, the city made the decision to invest in a lobbying grant writing team. And all throughout this speech, you've heard me talk and mention the various grants that we've been very successful in lobbying for. And to date, this investment has brought millions to our city for public safety equipment and training, recreation, housing, youth assistance, roads, transportation, and infrastructure. Our grant writing team is led by Lisa Nasserini, the CEO of the Nasserini Strategy Group, and Lisa and her team have done an incredible job of finding additional resources to help move our city forward. We should give them a big round of applause, too. Now, we all know we can't have a great city without great schools, and that takes great leadership. And I would be remiss if I didn't talk about one of our strongest community partners, the Wayne Westland Community School District. And I hope our new superintendent, Michelle Harmala, and she is going to do an incredible job. She already is. I hope she doesn't mind if I brag a little bit about the incredible work of the school district. The 2014-15 graduating class was awarded an astounding $9 million in scholarships. This year's graduating class had 37 valedictorians. That's all of our high schools combined, and one salutatorian. 3 Wayne Westland High School students in the last 2 years were awarded the prestigious Gates Millennium Scholarship. This scholarship pays for all related college expenses through graduate school at any college or university in the United States. And one of our current winners is currently attending Harvard. So that's good news. I don't think we talk enough about the successes of our community schools. I also want to talk about how the Wayne Westland Community Schools and the City of Westland's partnerships are serving the broader community as well. We have a home building partnership that offers the William D. Ford Career Technical Center construction technology students the opportunity to learn skilled trades by completing home building and other needed construction projects for the city. Some examples include the renovation of the Jefferson Barnes Elementary School, park renovations, and blight renovations at a lot of the vacant houses. And beginning this year, Dr. Harmala and I will be working together along with the Westland Community Foundation to start a Champions of Glen program to complement Wayne Memorial alum Richard Helpe's very successful Pay for Performance Champions of Wayne program, where students can earn money by improving their grade point average. So I know the kids are going to like that one. The Compassionate City Initiative is bearing fruit among our youngest residents. For example, Emma Sosha, who led us in the Pledge of Allegiance, started the Empower Kindness campaign to support anti-bullying and create awareness to be kind to everyone around you and challenge yourself to play it forward. Emma, I've got your band on today, and hopefully everyone in the audience has put theirs on too. We're very proud of you, and we're honored to have Emma and her family join us tonight. Emma, can you stand one more time, and let's recognize this incredible young girl. And I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the city's yearly premier event. This year, the city held its 5th annual Blues, Brews, and Barbecue event at Central City Park. This year, thousands of people attended the event, and we had over 80 sponsors. Proceeds from this event will be shared with many of our local service and community organizations who provided free labor during the event. I even had a chance to taste some of our local residents' culinary skills as a judge during the first annual barbecue throwdown. Now, this is an event that's going to just keep getting better every single year. And you guys all know what next year is. As you know, Westland celebrates our 50 years as a city next year. Now, what we've done over the last few years is we've laid a foundation for the next 50 years and beyond. A foundation that rests on a sound financial footing, and you can bet we're going to have a heck of a birthday party next year. So I'm looking for some energetic individuals who want to serve on a special committee to work on the city's 50th anniversary. So if you're out there, please let us know as soon as possible. Now, what we've done, we have not done alone. And first, I'd like to ask everyone who works for the city, past and present, who's joining us here tonight, to please stand up. Please keep standing. The staff in the mayor's office and all of our department directors, employees, and the members of the Westland boards and commissions, you stand up too. I'm getting the feeling that Thelma put all the department heads in the overflow room tonight. So now their hard work has greatly contributed to all that we've been able to do tonight. When you saw that video earlier and we talked about all these projects, you guys know that any organization is only as good as its employees, and we have the best employees here in the city of Westland. Now, we've done this. This is just a final thought for the night. Think about all this that we've talked about tonight. We've done this. And I think citizens are frustrated with state, except for Bob Kozlowski, and federal government. They're tired of hearing a lot of talk, but not seeing the results. The things we talked about and celebrated tonight, we did it. And the plans we talked about for the future, all those projects, the money's in the bank, and we're going to do that too. And we've talked a lot about investment, and we talked a lot about money. The one thing we need to keep in mind, I want to slow down here just so we hammer this. With all that we've done and all that we're talking about doing, we're delivering a 2015 tax bill to every city and business in the city of Westland with a bottom line that is almost identical to your tax bill from 2008. And I think that that's pretty impressive. The important thing is we can't stop here. There's still much left for us to do. Now, we've taken the first steps, we've balanced the budget, and we're starting to invest in our infrastructure, but the rest of our story is still being written. So as we move forward, I look forward to working with the community, working with the city council, working with our employees. I need their help. We need your help. We need to work together to reimagine the former City Hall site. Look at what we've been able to accomplish with a vacant big box building here. Think what we could accomplish on that 14 acres if we put all of our thoughts and efforts and positive attention together. We're also going to be asking for your input on a recreational survey that we'll be launching soon to help the city to decide how to best deliver recreational opportunities in the future. And I'm going to ask you to help me with that. It's going to take you a couple minutes, but I think it's very important to the future as we decide as a community how we want to deliver recreation in the future. And I ask you to help me move the city into the next half century and beyond, because I can tell you, we can't do it without you. I can't do it without you, and the city can't do it without you. So with that said, I'm also going to, as we close down tonight, I'd like to ask the Westland Honor Guard to step forward. We're going to retire the flags tonight. So with that, would ask the Honor Guard to please step forward.
Present. Off. Order. Off. Anaga. Retire. Colors left. Mark. Forward. Mark.
Okay, so as we wrap up tonight, I'd like to thank everybody for attending. I'd like to thank my wife, Sherry, and my children for being part of the presentation here tonight. I'd also like to thank my good friend, Bishop McClendon, for leading us in prayer tonight. I'd also like to thank Emma and her family for being here tonight and leading us in the pledge. The Westland Honor Guard for their incredible service that they do for us. And also I'd like to recognize Ashley Beersey for being our Mistress of Ceremonies. Ashley's going to be leaving the city and moving down to Columbus, of all places. I mean, you guys know Ashley went to University of Michigan, so I bet that was pretty tough. But so Jim Harbaugh is not happy about that, by the way. So, but we want to wish her luck. She's kind of grown up in front of us here in the city of Westland, and she's a very talented girl, and she's going to do very well. And with that, I want to thank all of you for coming, and I want to leave you with one fact, that the state of the city of Westland is indeed strong. I think it's amazing. We've got a lot of incredible things going on here. We got to keep the momentum going. I'm going to need your help. You got to work with us. You got to work with the city council. And let's keep this good thing going. Thank you, and God bless the city of Westland. Thank you.